Hey everybody, welcome back. Coach Dave here with another 30 minutes of mobility. We're going to start with the neck, but I want you to make sure that you're in a comfortable seat, preferably laces down or in big toe extension, so you feed two birds with one seed. You might want some yoga blocks. If you don't have these, grab them. They're cheap and they're super versatile. They can be helpful later, but you don't need them. So when we get set in a comfortable position, we're going to start by taking the left hand and we're going to drive the chin down and in. We're going to keep the mouth closed. We're going to take the right hand on the top back of the head and we're going to push in with the left and pull down with the right. The goal here is a stretch in that upper neck right in the middle of the back of your neck. Okay, so let's drive in, pull down gently with the hand, and let's breathe in through the nose and out slowly. Each time you breathe out, progressively pull just a little bit more into that stretch. And let's take one more breath here. Slowly release. Take your hands off the chin and the head, and let's bring the chin to the chest and the back of the head to the back. Again, we're going to try to go progressively, so a little bit farther with each rep. Reach a little bit farther back, reach a little bit farther forward. One more nod, yes, and find the middle. Left ear to left shoulder, right ear to right shoulder. Let's do that a few times each side, keeping the shoulders down and away. And on this next rep to the left, glue your left ear to the left shoulder, and I want you to reach out 45 degrees with your right hand. Straight fingers. If you need to, in order to keep your left ear glued to the left shoulder, you can hold on with your left hand, pulling gently down. We're going to shrug the right shoulder to the right ear, and then reach away as far as you can. Shrug and reach. Progressive, so shrug a little bit harder in your third rep. Reach a little bit farther. We're doing 5. On the fourth one, shrug and hold. 2, 1. Reach away, hold. 2, 1. Slowly release. Bring your right ear over to your right shoulder. Feel free to grab on with the right hand, pull gently down, reach out 45 degrees with the left hand. Okay? Shrug left to left, and then reach. Progressive, squeeze a little bit harder, reach a little bit farther. 3, 4, and on that 5th rep, hold for 2, 1, reach for 2, 1, and relax. We're going to do a neck car, controlled rotation. Last thing with the neck here, let's bring the chin to the chest, trace the left collarbone, rotate as far as you can, start to dip the left ear to the left shoulder, and rotate back to extension, across, right ear to right shoulder, chin to right shoulder, and trace that right collarbone all the way through for another rep. Imagine you're moving your head through a tub of molasses. Create tension, move slowly with intent, come through for a third rep. As soon as you get back to the start from 3, switch directions. Trace the right collarbone with your chin, turn your right ear to the shoulder, extend back and around slowly and in control. All the way through for 2. And then all the way through for 3. Alrighty, let's find our way down to your stomach. And we're going to get into a full cobra, so I want your arms to be totally straight. There shouldn't be any low back pain. Your hips should stay glued to the floor. The closer your hands are into your shoulders, the harder this will be. So feel free to move them out and away into a wide position. so that you get your arms all the way straight, hips glued to the floor. When you get there, breathe as if you're trying to touch your belly button to the floor. Keep those shoulders away from the ears. Pinch those shoulder blades down into your back pockets. Breathe into that low belly. And let's take one more breath in this position. Slowly release yourself down to the floor. And we're going to get into a quad hip flexor stretch. You're going to take your left ankle into your right hand, cross body. My left hand is pushing into the floor. My left hip is pushing into the floor. First step is to push that left hip down, lift your left knee, and then pull the heel into the glutes. We're going to take a few breaths. We're here for about 30 seconds. Fill the belly all the way. Breathe out slowly. And let's take one more full breath in this position. Slowly release, control that left foot to the floor, and let's switch sides. Right ankle comes into the left hand, crossbody. Right hand is glued, right hip is glued to the floor. Press the hip down as you pull the knee up and heel to the glutes. Hold that position, breathe into your belly. Breathe out slowly, focus on that hip flexor. Here for about 30 seconds. Take one more full breath. Breathe out slowly. Slowly release. And we're going to flip onto side lying, so right side down. We're going to do some thoracic rotations. And the key with this is that when you rotate open like this, either your knee slides in or it doesn't move. There is no opening up and away. That's a compensation through the lumbar spine. So only shifting or glued. Feel free to hold those knees in place with your right hand. If you need to, you're gonna reach out left, breathe in. Pull the bowstring back to your eye. As you breathe out, try to get your left elbow all the way to the floor and freeze. I'm gonna rest my hand on my chest. I'm gonna take 3 full breaths in this position. Each breath out, I'm trying to relax a little bit farther, reduce some of the tension in the system. Breathe out slowly. And then we're going to do 5 reps of that. Reach out, breathe in. Pull the bowstring back to your eye. Try to touch the left elbow to the floor as you breathe out. 1 per breath. There's 3. Let's get 2 more good reps. And 5. In the same position, but we're going to make fists out in front, clasp the fingers. We're going to get into a hip car, controlled rotation. First step is left knee comes to chest, freeze. Gate swing open as far as you can, but freeze when you get there. I want you to imagine that you have a cup of water balanced right behind you, touching both of your hips. Okay, if you compensate through the right hip, you will knock the glass of water over. So we need to teach ourselves what it's like to only move through the left hip. Internally rotate by driving that heel and ankle behind you into extension, focusing on that internal rotation all the way through
for another rep. Stay crunched at the abs. Flex. Abduct. Internally rotate, extend. Moving through a pool of molasses, slow and in control. Through for another rep. And through for one more final rep. As soon as you get back to the starting position, we're going to switch directions. Extend back, but only as far as you can without unwinding that ab crunch. Rotate the knee around and through for another rep. Remember, that glass of water is still there. Try not to spill it. Coming around for rep 3. Still moving through molasses. Let's come around for one final rep. And when you're ready, we're going to switch sides. Okay, we are left sideline, knees stacked. First thing is thoracic rotation. Remember, you can shift, but you can't open at the knees. Okay, hold the knees in place if you need to with the left hand. Reach, breathe in. Breathe out, pull the bowstring back towards the eye. Elbow to the floor if you can get it there. Rest your hand on the chest. If you can't quite get the elbow there, I want you to focus on relaxation with your breath out. We're going to take one more full breath in this position. After that breath out, I want you to reach out in front of you, breathe in. We've got 5 reps. Breathe out as you pull the bowstring towards the eyes. 1 rep per breath. Here's 5, reach. Breathe out, rotate. After your 5th rep, reach out, clasp your hands, and let's go into that hip car. Right knee to chest, gate swing open, freeze, check in, make sure that left hip didn't compensate. Internally rotate that ankle behind you into extension, and rotate through for a 2nd rep. Keep that internal rotation as you extend. Try to keep the same speed throughout the movement. Coming through for 3. Coming through for one final rep this direction. As soon as you're back to the start, let's switch directions. Extend, but only as far as you can without undoing that lumbar lock. Rotate around. Through molasses, through for another better rep. Slower, more control, touching the end range. And as you touch end range, fight for more. Finishing 3, let's come through for a 4th rep. Alrighty, friends. Excellent work. Let's flip back over onto our stomachs. And we are going to push yourself back into child's pose. My child's pose, I'm going to be knees wider than hips. My hands are going to be close together. So as close together as you can without any pinching sensations in your shoulders. So if you feel pinching, back off. We don't want impingement. My thumbs are touching one another. And I'm just going to kind of rock the boat side to side. Like I'm trying to touch my left armpit to the floor, and then my right armpit to the floor. You should feel that shoulder winding up. You should feel the lat as you press down, and the rhomboids of the rotator cuff muscles as well. Keep rocking the boat. As with any stretch, you need to find your line of tension. So maybe a little bit different position. On this next rock, push your right armpit down and hold. Full breath. Left armpit down, rock to the side, full breath. And back to the start. Okay, we are going to do a shoulder car in this position. So pressing your left hand down, rotate your right thumb to the sky. You're going to lift that right thumb as high as you can. Rotate the right thumb all the way back and around until you've wound your shoulder up completely, your palms facing away from your body at your side. Rotate again, all the way back to the start. Press your right palm down, lift your left thumb up, raise that left thumb to the sky and rotate around all the way until you're completely wound up, and unwind slowly. We're going to do 3 reps per side. Each rep is going to be slower and in more control. Right thumb up, touch end range, fight for more in every position. Wind that shoulder up as much as you possibly can. And return to the start, slowly and in control. If you feel some kind of like herky-jerky movements, that's where I need you to slow down, create more tension through the system, touch end range and control as opposed to speeding up. That's where you need the most work. Return to the start slowly, and we'll get 1 more rep per side. Moving through a pool of molasses. Squeeze those muscles, create tension, and let's get 1 last rep on your left side. Nicely done. All right, we are coming up into a wide lateral squat position. So your right foot is out wide, your left foot is out wide. We're going to start with the hands glued to the floor, and my hands are going to stay in the middle to start. I'm going to press into my right foot, lengthening my left leg. Press into your left foot, lengthening your right leg. Just getting a feel for what I have available to me. The inner thighs, hamstrings. Go to the right, bring your hands to the right. Straight left leg. My left foot is still pressed into the floor, and I'm just hunting around. And notice I'm doing a little rotation. I'm pressing my right knee over my right toes as far as I can. And then walk the hands to the left foot. Press straight right leg, toes are still glued to the floor. Hunt around, press the knee over the toes. Walk the hands to the right foot. Rotate the left toes up off the floor. Now your right foot needs to stay flat, so you might need to go super wide. I need you to stay flat there. Rotate down, rotate up. Right now, all I'm doing is just kind of noodling around, finding where my hips need to work. Control it all. Remember, this is mobility, not flexibility. So I'm just playing around, rotating my hip, touching all of my end ranges. And let's walk to the left side. Same exact thing. Left foot stays flat. Rotate those right toes to the sky, down, noodle, hunt, rotate. Press those knees over those toes as long as the heel stays flat. We're still breathing with intent. Okay, back to the right. If you're feeling good, you're feeling solid, you feel like you have control, we're going to leave the ground with the hands. The left toes are up off the floor. And now I'm just going to play around. I'm going to try to drop my left shoulder, my right shoulder. I might even grab and rotate. If you need to, you can always hold on to something to be able to work these end range positions, but remember that's adding a passive component. We want to try to stay active as much as possible through these positions. Do chest tall. If you can, switch sides without using your hands. Right toes up off the floor, and let's hunt. Okay, into the middle. Knees are bent. Okay, it's almost like a sumo squat, but it's a super wide sumo squat. My elbows are resting on my lower thigh. And then work that hip rotation. It's a funny little position, but I want you to think your femur in the socket is rotating around as much as possible. And let's drop right side Cossack. Low switch, left side Cossack. Right switch, left switch. One more each. Right switch, left switch. Nicely done. Okay, let's work our way to the floor on your back. We're gonna do one more thing on your low back, on your back, and then one more squat. Now that those hips are cooked, we're gonna let them relax a little bit. On your back, grab both knees. You've got options. You can grab one knee per hand. You can reach across, clasp the hands, grabbing both knees. You can go knees close. You can go knees wide. I just want your low back to decompress in hip flexion. Rock side to side. We're here for another breath. Slowly release the left leg. We're going to bring it into a right side glute stretch. So it's going to be different for everybody, but we're going to try to drive that right knee across the body. I like to walk my left foot off to the side like this while keeping my torso centered. Pull the right knee across. You might even need to rotate your chest a little bit. Two more breaths here. Slowly release. Let's bring the right foot flat to the floor. Let's bring the left leg across for a left side glute stretch. Whatever it looks like for you, I'm walking my right foot out and I'm pulling my left knee across. You might need to do some different things like lift that right foot up off the floor. You might even need something different side to side, and that's totally okay. Keep the shoulders glued. Find that left side stretch. Let's stay here for two more breaths. All right, release that left foot. We are going to do some hip crossovers before we get into that squat for the final position of the day. So you're going to drop your knees off to the right and then drop your knees off to the left. This is active, so we're staying in control the whole time. The one we're really focusing on is internal rotation. That's when the knee drops in, so my left hip here and my right hip here. When you get into internal rotation, I want you to really squeeze using that inner thigh, driving that knee down. Don't worry about how far you come into external rotation. One more each. Shift right, shift left, and when you're ready, find your way into a squat position. All right, everybody's squat's different, but everybody's feet are flat. Your feet might be super wide, They might be pointed away. You might not be super deep in the squat, and that's okay. We are all grabbing our toes. We're all pulling ourselves into that deep squat. Chest is tall. Then we're going to come up into a hamstring stretch. Drive the hips to the sky, feet flat to the floor. Let your chin come to your chest, your back is rounded. And then pull yourself back down into the squat. Chest tall. Drive the hips back up to the sky for hamstring stretch. And then back down into the squat. One more breath here. Drive the hips up to the sky. Release the toes, but grab your elbows, and let's rock to the right. Let's rock to the left. Rock to the right. Rock to the left. Find the center. Release the hands to the floor. Let the knees softly bend. We are going to roll up to standing one vertebrae at a time. Start at your low back. Work your way into your mid back, upper back, standing tall. That, my friends, is all she wrote for the day. Thank you so much for joining me. If you like the class, please drop the video a like. Don't forget to subscribe. We got a bunch more classes, strength, mobility, and everything in between. Until next time, Dave out.